If there's one thing that you do this Halloween, do not launch any ad campaigns that commit these 3 cardinal sins. I think generally marketers are coming from a good place. I have met plenty of marketers, and I would say that only about half of them are actually evil people that have your worst intentions at heart. But we're going to be talking today about 3 ways in which marketers have made big mistakes. The first category is wrong place, wrong time. It's so easy to put something out there and just hit it at the wrong time and cause national upset. You've got to be really careful and keep your heart on the pulse on what's going on in the nation. That's what happened to Pepsi when they launched an ad aimed at diffusing political tension with Pepsi and asking us to all come together. This campaign, I am sure, was made with the best intentions. And oftentimes, as marketers, we sit in a room surrounded by a team of people who are, in most cases, very similar to us, with a very similar background and a very similar set of corporate ideas on what a campaign needs to look like and what it needs to contain. And I guess in some ways you could consider that this particular advert was wrong place, wrong time. The vibe itself of the ad campaign, I think what they were trying to achieve is a kind of a peace, love and unity sort of vibe. But what it really came across as is a tasteless paste of corporate mush. The second category is all about the Hippocratic Oath and what happens when we as marketers break rule number 1, which is don't alienate your own audience. Jaguar rebranded in the early 2024 and it saw national confusion and fury from their core owners. Jaguar is a heritage British brand and they are incredibly well liked by both the users who have been part of that heritage for a long time and the general British public. America, I believe, is also quite well established there. Jaguar decided that they would rebrand their brand and their colour identity and all of the assets that go alongside that. They moved from something that was quite traditional and spoke really to the heritage and quality of the parts to something that a lot of people saw as being corporate, kind of wishy-washy mush. That was seen as a cardinal sin to its core demographic, and I can definitely see why that was the case. I mean, I think I speak for everyone when I say that it was a big departure from what had gone before. Following on from that, some people mentioned online that they'd experienced a 97.5% drop in total car sales, which is ridiculously large. And it is ridiculous because there's a larger story going on behind the scenes here. Jaguar as a brand has been experiencing significant downward trends in their car sales across the board for a long time. And, although they have this really aggressively positive history in their core audience group, those audiences are typically purchasing and maintaining previous historical models and not necessarily buying the new cars. So I guess this comes to the question of who do you actually need to speak to? Is it your core fans, the people who are who have been with you for a long time and have used your products and services, or is it a new audience, considering that your old audience is no longer filling the revenue for the business? I can't answer that question, but I'm sure that there's a massive team at Jaguar who have done the research and made decisions based on data. Now that comes into play around mid-2024, and then they experienced that large drop in sales. But that wasn't necessarily due to the rebrand. Interestingly enough, Jaguar actually stopped building cars, so there were no cars to sell. And they did that because it was no longer profitable to actually build and sell the cars in their current format. And that's really where we see this large step change in their brand. I do think that overall it was an interesting decision born out of a necessity to make large changes. So for that reason, I actually don't consider that a bad ad. And the third is the origin of the scamfluencer. So what happens when you have Victorian London and mysterious investing opportunities? I think we've all seen what I would term a scamfluencer. Very smart there, I've combined the word scam and influencer. These are people that go on social media and are peddling the most buy it now or you'll be left out sort of products. These influencers are a modern staple of our digital landscape. But did you know that actually they're not a new thing at all? In fact, even in the 1700s, in 1720, there were a number of different influencers that were attempting to secure funding for any number of different ventures. In fact, and we actually have one evidenced literally advertising for a company carrying an undertaking of great advantage, but no one to know what it is. Essentially the first ever blind box. This was a business that you could invest in without actually knowing anything about what they did. And people still invested. In fact, they received a great sum of money from the British public. And to the surprise of pretty much nobody, that bubble burst. And people lost their money there. They didn't receive any tangible return. But it is interesting to know that even then, people were experiencing FOMO. So that, I would say, is my third bad ad. Well, that was everything that I wanted to discuss. I do just want to talk a little bit more about who we are and what we do. So eComOne, we are a marketing agency for e-commerce brands who want to scale quickly. We try our best to run ad campaigns that don't cause national upset and protesting, but, you know, never say never. Maybe one day we'll get there. And we are actually hosting an event in January at Lincoln at the Everyman Theatre. And we're going to be talking more about how AI is playing a more and more of a role in marketing campaigns in general. I think it's a really interesting event for anybody who's currently using artificial intelligence in their campaigns, whether that's Advantage Plus, PMax campaigns, or even, you know, as simple as plugging questions into ChatGPT to try and generate ad creatives. So if you're doing any of those things, I would definitely recommend that you check out the event. And if you just happen to be on the marketing committee for either Pepsi or Jaguar, I would definitely recommend getting in contact with me, because I've got loads of good ideas for how you can continue to alienate your core audience and really drive international infamy. So I look forward to hearing from you.